local thrift stores, all vintage malls. Laura Caldwell now has a van.
In today's video, I'm going to be doing a full thrifted haul recap, along with sharing how I decorate with our vintage finds. In part one of today's video, we took our new van outsourcing for the first time and scored some incredible secondhand treasures. Stay tuned to see everything we found and learn why we picked them up, and if they did indeed end up being valuable. Thank you so much for joining us on our very first pickin' adventure in our van. We stayed really close to home this time, but don't worry, we have some incredible road trips and exciting things planned for next year. We cannot wait to take you on this journey with us, make memories, and find amazing thrift scores all over the country. We would love to hear where you think we should take that van picking. Comment below with your favorite cities to go thrifting in. We're just so excited for this next chapter, and thank you for being such a huge part of our lives and this exciting new journey that we're going to be on in our new van. Let's go ahead and dive into today's vintage haul. I think this tray is so fantastic. It is the ultimate perfect party platter. This little burro donkey right here has little holes all over in it for you to put toothpicks in with little appetizers on it. We found this at Goodwill. It was only $9.99. I just think this would be so fun to show up to a party with this filled with food. The wood needs to be cleaned up a little bit, and I need to oil it with a food safe oil since it's gonna have snacks on it. I will link my favorite food safe oil in the description below in case you wanna get some for yourself. I thought this was so interesting. It's a Japanese lantern. I think it's pretty old based on what I saw online. You could hang it from a chain or a rope. It's missing, I think, the base that it would have originally had. I just think even set on a table over a small candle, this would look so beautiful. I picked this up at the antique mall for only $40, and they sell online for over $100. So it was a really good investment. I'm gonna use this a few times and enjoy it, and then I'm gonna resell it in one of my online shop sales. I wonder if you could even turn it into a little swag lamp. Have it hanging with a cord and a small round globe in it. I think this is one of the most beautiful pieces of pottery that I have found in a long time. I think what's so interesting to me about this one is that it almost looks like mosaic tiles. I'm pretty sure that it was made in Mexico, but it also has a little bit of a feel to maybe Hungarian pottery. I've seen a lot of Eastern European, Hungarian pottery that looks very similar to this as well. So I'm not 100% positive on whether it was made in Mexico. We found so much good pottery at the Washougal Goodwill. I honestly can't believe how much good stuff we got there. These are vintage Winfield Pasadena pottery, and the design on them is so simple and beautiful. These are a really great size for a small dipping sauce or to set out with olives in them for a charcuterie board. They're really beautiful and simple, and we got them for such a good price at only $1.99 each. I'm a huge fan of any kind of rustic bowl, and this one I love so much because it has the raised height to it. You can kind of think about a table setting the same way you would think about setting up for a flea market or your antique booth. You've got to layer things, you've got to stagger the heights, and that is why I love having pedestal dishes and pedestal bowls when I'm setting up a table setting. You don't want everything flat and the same height. You've got to stagger those heights for interest. The size of this one's really great too because you could put some chips in it, crackers in it with cheese and charcuterie. You could put fruit in it, pretty much anything. It's so silly to be so excited about a dang wooden jar, but I had seen this at the antique mall probably 3 or 4 times and wanted to buy it, and I just couldn't quite justify it at $26. I don't know why there's such a difference between 26 and 20, but as soon as I saw it on sale, I had to get it, partly because I was afraid somebody else now would too. So this little beauty is going to go to my stash of boxes and jars for decorating with here at the studio. So much good studio pottery from that Goodwill. I can't even believe it. Whenever you see anything at Goodwill that has tape going across the top, you can't just assume that they're being nice and putting that on there to make sure that the lid doesn't fall off. You gotta double check for cracks and chips. In this case, we were good to go, so I put it in the cart, but several times in the past I didn't check, and I got home and I opened it up and immediately saw that there was a huge chip or crack on the lid. So don't forget to take off that tape, double check before you put it in your cart. This is almost identical to some in a yellow color that I picked up recently. A beautiful piece of Southwestern Pottery. It's signed by the artist, and it was only $3.99. A few more little trinkets that I got for the studio for styling. A cute little carved wood mushroom and a genie lamp lighter. Isn't that awesome? I love using a lighter or a little dish full of matches for just a little extra during styling. Sometimes it's all in those little details. This one is a really exciting find. This is pottery made out of Hawaii. I'm not sure how old it is. When we first spotted it on the shelf, I thought either this was going to be something really good or it was going to be something modern made to look old. And I was actually a little surprised when we flipped it over and saw that it was handmade and that it was definitely vintage. And we got this thing at Goodwill for only $9.99. Okay, I'm gonna take you back to my little bathroom section where I do some cleaning, and I'm gonna show you how I clean up matte finish pottery, and I'm gonna show you the piece of pottery that I think is gonna look amazing with this. Sorry about the loud fan noise. I can't have my bathroom light here at the studio on without the loud fan. I wanted to show you what I typically do whenever I have pottery that has a lot of scuffs on it. It's actually pretty amazing. Magic eraser. So I put it in warm soapy water, let it soak for a little bit, and basically, like magic, it all kind of comes off. It's amazing what these can do. Even the bottom side, be able to pretty much get all of this off. Now I can actually see the artist's signature. So whenever you have matte finish pottery that's all scuffed up, warm soapy water, and a magic eraser. I love these little beaded mirrors. Before we had our first home, we lived in a rental with some roommates and we had a bedroom that was kind of a loft area. To this day, it was still one of my favorite bedroom setups. We had beaded curtains, we had a wicker headboard, and we had several of these wood beaded mirrors hanging on the wall. This one was kind of neat because it actually has the easel on the back, and I've never seen one like that before. I can't believe we found this at Goodwill for only $4.99. I'm so excited about it. He's got some dents up here, but other than that, it's in great condition. And if you have any tips on how to get dents out of metal, please let me know in the comments below. I've actually never tried to do it before, and I'd really like to try to get the dents out before I sell it, if possible. I'm so happy we found this. This is my favorite find of the day for sure. I also got this really pretty peach Free People sweater, and it was $14.99. Free People sells really well and holds its value. This sweater probably would have been around $80 to $100 brand new. And at $14.99, even if I sold it for $40 or $50, that's a really good return on your money. It's really, really soft and cozy. This one is signed Glidden 1949. Now these are not incredibly valuable. This is probably worth between $40 and $60, but to find a piece of pottery from 1949, that's 75 years old. And it's just sitting on a Goodwill shelf for $4.99. I think that's pretty incredible. It's lived this long, and I'm really excited for it to find a new home and get to live another life. It's really well made and it has such beautiful colors. And then how fun is this? We got to work on it a little bit before we sell it, but this is just such a fun basket. If you're gonna have a picnic and post it on Instagram, I feel like you need a watermelon basket. It's very adorable, and it was a really good find for at Goodwill. I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
Squarespace is an all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. And you can easily make your website stand out and be beautiful by using one of their many, many customizable templates. I have been selling my vintage finds on my Squarespace website for over 9 years now. And with this new year, I'm thinking it's time for a website refresh. So I've been having fun going through all of their templates and getting ideas, trying to decide what I want to do with my website for this new year. Change can be a good thing, and it's important to keep your content and your website looking fresh. And Squarespace makes it so easy with everything you need right here in one location. Not only will your website be beautiful and easy to build out the way you want it, it will help you engage with your audience, sell anything you want, your products, your content, what you create, and even your time. Squarespace makes it easy to connect to your other social media accounts. You can set it up so that you automatically display posts from your other social media profiles, and you can automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels so your followers can share it too.
Head to squarespace.com to start your free trial today, and when you are ready to launch your own website, head to squarespace.com/leftcoast to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. I've got a few exciting things to give you updates on today. One of them is from a piece of artwork that I found quite a few months back. I have to give a huge thank you to Elaine for dropping this comment and letting me know that Tom Allen was indeed an Oregon painter. He was known for his watercolors. He's in his 90s living in New Mexico, and apparently he still paints to this day. I was really drawn to this watercolor painting because it's blue, and you know I love blue. I'm always drawn to blue when I see it. But also I liked that the birds were a little bit abstract. A while back, I found a teapot and some cups and saucers, and I wasn't sure who the maker was on it. But thankfully, some of you knew exactly who it was, and you helped me identify it by commenting below. They are by Nancy Patterson Lamb, Iron Mountain Blue Ridge Stoneware. And the value was definitely there, because it turns out her pieces are quite valuable. So if you ever come across this pattern or this color palette in a thrift store, make sure you flip them over and look for the stamp on the bottom.
Jesse and I knew we recognized this pattern, but we couldn't off the top of our head remember what we had found out about it. Last fall, we had found a few coffee mugs and plates in this exact same color palette. So I pulled up my research from then, and this is by Nancy Patterson Lamb, who was a ceramicist, and this was made when she was working with Iron Mountain Pottery. I looked it up and we found this exact same teapot for sale online for well over $100. I also found a really cool article about Nancy. She's actually interviewed in it, so I will link that in the description below if you want to learn a little bit more about her pottery.
So now I have an exciting Bitosi update for you. Do you remember when Jesse and I went to London and we filmed at Portobello Road Market? If you haven't seen that video, you've got to go back and watch this video. We had such an amazing time thrifting in London. We take you to car boot sales in that episode, some of the best flea markets around London. One of the things that we found was a lamp for $20. How much is it?
20.
20? I think it's worth it for 20 pounds, but we love it. Now, my gut was telling me that it was Italian and that it might be a Bitosi, but we actually didn't know for sure. We ended up picking it up anyways, knowing that we would rewire it once we got home, and we have since done some research on it and found out that it is indeed a Bitosi. We bought this lamp for only 20 pounds, not dollars like I said a minute ago, 20 pounds, which is a really good price. This same exact lamp has sold online for around $350 to $600, just depending on what platform it was sold on. So for 20 quid, we got a really good deal. Earlier this year when I was on a girls picking trip, which is another fun vlog if you haven't seen, it's over an hour long. We picked from sunrise to sundown for 2 straight days. One of the things that I found on that sourcing trip was a pretty handmade mug. And I didn't know who the maker was, but it did have a signature on the bottom. And I was able to find out, thanks to you in the comments below, that it was Hamner pottery made out of New Zealand. It's so cool to know that we have followers all the way over in Australia and New Zealand who knew of this potter maker. So now I know to keep an eye out for that triangle signature, and I was able to look up the artist, listen to this description of how the pottery was made. I thought this was so fascinating. Hamner pottery was biscuit fired and then dipped in a white glaze, dried, and then hand decorated and fired again. And when I read that, I thought, I have got to go tour a pottery factory. So if any of you have any good recommendations to a place here in Oregon where I live that I could go and actually learn and see the process that everything goes through for pottery to be made, I would be so grateful. So that is all for today's updates and identifications. If there's anything in today's video here behind me that I didn't identify and you happen to know something about, don't hesitate to drop it in the comments below, because maybe I will be able to use your information in a future updates and identification section. Thank you so much for joining us on our very first picking adventure in our new van. I'm just so excited that we're going to be able to share all of the new memories and the thrift adventures and the amazing finds with all of you. It's going to be a wild ride and we cannot wait. That's all for today from the studio. I will see you in the next episode very soon.